Hi there, welcome back. In today's video we're going to use this beautiful mould. It's called, I called it Starry, but not Starry Night Pot. We're going to use another one as well, and I'm just showing you the lid, and we're going to use some glitter. Love the glitter. Right, just going to decant some of this beautiful silver glitter. This is from Art Studios, the brand. They're from the Range UK, which is a retail shop over here in the UK. And as per usual, I've spilt a bit on the outside of the mould, but that doesn't matter, it's fine. Going to see what it's like, how it takes to this mould. Now, this mould I haven't used before. Look at those lovely stars. Constellations, that's it. That's the word I've been thinking to try and find. Now, all I'm doing is dipping that brush. Yeah, now you use anything that you feel comfortable using. If it's a brush or a foam pad, you use what you feel comfortable, but I'm using a brush, dipping it into that lovely silvery glitter, and then just rubbing it, burnishing and brushing it onto the lid part of the mould of the pot, and just wondering how this is going to take. Is it going to react like other eco resins? Big clue there, I'm going to use aquacast in this video like I did in the last one. Is it going to react the same as other eco resins like elichem, the one we used from Hobbycraft, which is the equivalent of Hobby Lobby over here in the UK, or you know, if the Let's Resin, I think Let's Resin do one, Resincrete one. Is it going to react in the same way? So I'm just going to turn. I decided to turn the mould, the lid mould part inside out, and have a look. Now, a little bit more here, a little bit more there, and then sped up the video for you because, you know, you don't need to spend ages watching me just applying glitter to moulds. You can see I'm wearing as well, I'm protecting myself by wearing the nitrile gloves. I've also got a pair of white cotton gloves on underneath that and some sleeve protectors. So going to repeat the process now with the pot part of it, the base part, and just burnishing and brushing on that glitter. There we go. Look at that. Now, don't forget to do the bottom of the inside of the mould. Very important that. I've forgotten to do that before. Just pushing it back through there so it's the right way round. Also give it a little tap just to make sure any excess glitter has already come out. I'd love to see these made with regular epoxy resin as well, which we will do at a later stage, but we probably won't. We'll put some photos of that maybe up on our community page for our channel. We won't necessarily show you a video on that because that will be quite a basic video. Now, this is the other pot. Look at this hexagon pattern, reminds me of honeycomb, and the bee. Again, love this. Now look how bright yellow that glitter is. That's a real in-your-face gold. Now, all I'm done here is I already had made up some gold and silver glitter mixed. So I thought I'm going to use that on the honeybee pot. So just doing the same process as I did for the Starry Night pot, brushing it on there, really burnishing it in. That bee, there's so much detail on that bee. Turned it inside out, checked it, put some bits in, brush some more glitter on, and again just tap it as well. Turn it back in the right way and give it a bit of a tap, you know, tappy wappy, as we know Steve McDonald says if you've ever watched his craft channel. And there we go, just to get rid of any excess. It doesn't matter if it goes over the other mould because I'm going to use it. Now, I didn't think I'd got enough glitter left of the glitter mix, so I'm just literally showing you how I mix it up. Bit of gold into a pot, any pot will do, and some silver. Now, if you think that you've made up too much or you like what you've made and you want to make more, make sure that you then store it in a really securely lidded container, because if glitter gets out, glitter will get everywhere, and that's not great to try and clean up glitter. You'll be clearing it up for weeks. So just mixing it around here with a wooden stir stick, and you can see how the silver glitter really calms down the brassy yellow, unfortunately it is brassy yellow, of the golden glitter. So that's a bit more me now, rather than the in-your-face gold that we had. I'm just doing exactly the same process as I have done with the Starry Night Sky pot, as I'm calling it. just brushing it onto the mould, having turned it inside out. It's picking up all that lovely hexagon honeycomb sort of detail of the bees. And yeah, just making sure I'm putting on enough and putting on it where I want it to be. There, pardon the pun. Making sure I do the base again, and then I'll very carefully turn it back the right way round, give it a little tap, get rid of any excess glitter, and then we're ready for the aquacast. Now, I'm using aquacast here. I've already mixed some up. Playing around a bit with the instructions on the mixing ratio for their product. Aquacast is made by Elichem. It's got very clear and concise instructions on mixing ratio, how you stir it, mix it, what you can add to it, how long it takes to cure, and then how you should treat it afterwards. Now, you can see there, I'm picking up, dropping it, picking up and dropping it. We've got little bubbles coming up to the surface, giving it a good tap, tap, tap. Obviously, as soon as I do that, I'm going to get aquacast all on the outside of the mould as well, which is a good job. I'm just doing this on a piece of grease-proof paper, that's underneath these. The reason you tap and you jiggle and you wiggle your pots, jiggle, wiggle, tappy, wappy, all that, and really vibrate them as much as you can, cause as much of that you can see me doing now. This is with the other pot. It's to encourage air bubbles and air pockets and little bubbles to come up to the surface and then disperse. There we go. So just doing the lid here. Now, this takes 90 minutes to cure. The very big difference between this and epoxy resin. Epoxy resin, at least 24 hours, depending on the environment that you're doing your creating in and the country, the climate of which you live. But look at that. Now it looks like we've got a bit of glitter on the base, on the outside, which is fine. Now, has it picked up well on the inside of this pot? Has it mixed into the resin? Is it going to come off on my hands? This is what I wanted to see. I really wanted to see how it behaved, the aquacast behaved, compared to other eco resins that we've used. And look at that. No, look. It's on the aquacast. It's not left in the mould. And you can see the mix of the silver and gold glitter there. Again, you don't have to mix the colours of the glitters. You can use any colours you like. And I'm just rubbing my hand over there just to see, is any of the glitter coming off my hand, or is it completely adhered to the aquacast? And it has. But we will be sealing these with the same sealant that we've used in a previous video where I made 2 carousels and I painted one of them. If you haven't seen that, then why not go over to our playlist and have a little watch and watch me get into a right pickle, a right little mess and pickle, and get a bit anxious and use the world's worst paintbrush to paint something. But anyway, moving on. We've demolded the lid. Now that lid, yeah, you can see we've got some air bubbles trapped. There's 2 or 3 little air bubbles, but on the whole it looks quite good. It's picked out all the detail of that bee, and you could just leave that pot as it is like that, but we give it a bit of a zhuzh, a little bit of something extra, just to bling it up a bit. Now, this is the other pot. This is the Starry Night pot. Now, I've already demolded the lid. Apologies, there's no footage of that. I thought it was recording and it wasn't. So, just carefully taking the mould down, because I've not used these moulds before. They're from Temu, and as usual, everything we've used in this video will be linked in the description box below. But look at that with the silver. Now, I thought it looked a bit wet on the inside, but it's not, and it's not coming off on my hands. Now, it's picked up all the glitter. It's picked up the lovely pattern of the stars and the constellations. You can lightly sand these on the base of the pot and the lid if you want to. If you're going to do that, make sure you put a mask on. Now, look at those 2 together. They look gorgeous. Now, this is what I mean by blinging it up, giving it a little something extra. Now, yes, this is not my hands. This is Wayne's hands. Wayne is my partner in real life, and he's also one of the other creators here at lottiejasminedesigns. And he said to me, what would you like doing with those? Because he said, he wanted to have a bit of a play with these lovely metallic paints. The metallic paints are from Temu. You'll have seen us use them in previous videos. So I told him what I wanted. Now, me and him, we disagreed. We disagreed. I mean, I love what he does with the bee, but he does use a colour. It's the second colour he uses on the bee's wings, which I didn't agree with. And he does go back in and he changes the colour on them. Now, the colour he does use would look lovely if it was wings of a fairy or a butterfly, but not on the wings of the bee. But this beautiful, he's doing a stellar job here. Brilliant. With the metallic gold, he's got a lot of patience. He's using much better paintbrushes. So when you're doing anything like this, just take your time, nice and slowly, little bit by little bit, until you get it exactly how you want it. Now, he did put 2 coats of the gold paint on. So obviously he waited, and whilst he was waiting for the first coat of gold paint to completely dry, he went and did the other pot. So you'll see him move away from this pot in a second or two, a moment or two, and you'll see him pick up the Starry Night pot. But yeah, so he's just deciding on where he's putting the gold on the bee's body and head, and I think it looks stunning. I mean, you could just leave it like that if you wanted. Totally up to you. Now, can you see there, little quick flash of the lid for the Starry Night pot? He had painted some of the stars in gold rather than silver. Now, ideally, I personally probably would have preferred them to be in silver, but I actually do think they do look lovely in gold. Now, he's being not very particular with how he's painting these, and that's because these are supposed to mimic, I don't know if they're the actual star constellations, but they are supposed to, if not be exact, resemble the ones that you see in the night sky. Can you see there? And then what he's done is he's wiped off the excess. Now, the future Wayne did say to me he won't do it like that again. What he will do is use a micro brush and he'll paint it with a micro brush rather than doing what he's doing currently. Because in wiping off the excess paint, it did coat the surface of this lovely pot. Now what you could do is seal the pots first and then paint them. Totally up to you. We found with aquacast it doesn't behave like other eco resins we've used. It doesn't suck the paint into it, so it's not as porous. We've certainly decided and found that it's not as porous as other brands that we've used. But this is Wayne going back now to the detail on the bee pot. So, and he's just painting in the rest of the body in the lovely black. Now this is a dark, I want to say pewter silvery black colour. It's a metallic paint. These are metallic paints from Temu. They're acrylic paints and they are wonderful. They are, I can't tell you how nice they are to use. Well, I can. They're brilliant to use. Very easy to use. They're great to use. They're quite affordable because, let's face it, they're from Temu. But it is a very good product. It's something we would highly recommend. We aren't sponsored by Temu, but these definitely would be on our list to buy again. And at the rate that we're using them, some of the colours we're gonna run out of quicker than others. But look at this. The bee is really coming to life. It's looking really 3D now. Imagine saying that, a 3D bee. 3D bee. But yeah, so just there you are, just correcting that little bit there with a micro brush. Again, micro brushes, can't recommend them highly enough. They're great for getting into little details of things and so on. Look at that. As I said, if you haven't seen our previous video where we've used aquacast, where I made the carousels, where I show you the actual mixing process and the mixing ratio and measuring process, the fact that I use a sieve to sieve the powder as well, just to ensure that you don't get any little lumps and so on. That was a tip, I think, from Claire at Claire's Crafty Corner, I think, or it might have been Sharon Lindley, if any of you have watched their channels. Shout out to both of those for giving us inspiration on, let's persevere, because our previous endeavours with eco resins haven't been too good. We haven't had the greatest of results, but these are absolutely stunning. Love that bee. Now, you could leave that bee exactly as it is now, but Wayne decided to do the wings in white. Now, I get why. I understand why. He wanted them to be getting a bit lost. I mean, the body and the antenna and the little feelers and its legs of the bee look great. They look really, really stunning. But the wings were getting lost a bit, and there's so much detail, fine detail on these wings, that he thought, right, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put, this is a metallic white, like a pearlescent white colour. Again, same little pack of paints that we got. And can you see it's really coming up nicely there? And you could just leave it at that. You could. But he didn't. He also applied another colour that I wouldn't use for a bee. And that's, you're going to see it in a minute. It's a pale metallic blue. Now, the pale metallic blue on the wings, I mean, it looks lovely. And if you want your bee to have blue coloured wings, then by all means go for it. But after a discussion, we decided to take it back to the colour palette that we had been using, which was to use gold. So we highlight bits of it with gold of the wings, and we don't show you that, but you could use the blue that he's going to show you, and you see him using it and see the effect on butterflies, fairies, oh my god, dragonflies. Would look, I mean, it would look stunning on those, but not on a bee. It just did, for my opinion, it just didn't work. It was one step too far away from nature. There's the blue. It's a beautiful blue. Would look great on a mermaid's tail, on the scales of a mermaid's tail as detail, on shells, anything like that, really. But look at this. I mean, it is a beautiful colour. It's just not quite right. So there we go. So this is how you know that we will show you everything that we think goes right and some of the things that we think don't go quite so right. And I will say we did disagree on this. Wayne thinks that the blue looks stunning, and it does look stunning, but not with a bee. But never mind. Never mind. So one other thing I need to tell you is, as soon as he'd finished painting these, he did then seal them using the gloss sealer that we got. That will also be linked. We haven't got any video footage of him actually doing that, but if you pop back and have a look at our playlist where I make the carousels, you will see how that is used. It's very, very straightforward. You just decant some into a little pot, use the sponges that come with it, and then just cover it, let it dry, and you're done. So look at that. Can you see that now with the gold edges on the wings? Beautiful pots. Really enjoyed making this. They would make 2 lovely gifts for Christmas. Hope you enjoyed watching the video. Hi to everyone and bye to everyone in the live chat. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Drop us a comment, and happy festive creating. Take care everyone. Bye bye.